This example is very similar to one of your homework problems. Now, before I do the problem, I would just like to take note of this part right here. Enter in answers using a remainder between 0 and 9. So what that means is that your answer, which is going to go right there, is one of these numbers: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Now that makes sense if you think about what I talked about in a previous video, is that if you think of the integers mod 10, there's really only 10 numbers in the integers mod 10. Those are exactly those numbers, right? So 0, 1, up to 9, those are the only numbers mod 10. And so that makes sense that really we would just reduce down to those. Okay. Now, one way you could approach this is you could add 321 plus 47. Let's see, what is that? 321, 47. Let's see, that's 8, 4, 5, 6, 368. And then do 368 divided by 10. Let's see, that goes in, I mean, let's see. What is that? It goes in 3 times. You get 30. You get a 6, so it doesn't go in there, right? Maybe I'll move this over a little bit. So then you bring down the 8, and then it goes in 6 times, and then you get 60, subtract, you get 8, and your remainder is 8. 8 is between 0 and 9, and an integer, so that's your answer right there. So you can see that's 8. So your answer would be 8. Okay, but that's really way too hard. That's way too difficult. That's working way too hard for this. Just think like 321 divided by 10, right? How many times is 10 going to go in? Or don't even worry about how many times it goes in, right? Just think like, okay, 321, that's equal to 320 plus 1. Now divided by 10, right? Right. This becomes an integer, right? And here's what you have left over. So your remainder is going to be 1. So your remainder is going to be 1. And you can kind of just, what's going on here, right, is that 321 is congruent to 1 mod 10. And 47, well, that's congruent to 7 mod 10. So 321 plus 47 is congruent to 1 plus 7, which is congruent to 8 mod 10, right? And so the answer is 8. That's all you got to do. Okay, now I'm going to do another couple of examples here. B, we've got 453 minus 350 squared is congruent to what mod 10? So again, let's just do the calculations this a very similar way. You could do what you could try and figure out. You could plug into your calculator 453 minus 350, then square that, and then divide by 10, and the remainder will go there. That'll be your answer. That would totally work. So you could do that if you want. But to me, I would just say, okay, let's see, 453, that's congruent to, let's see, I mean, 10 is going to go into 450, an even amount with no remainder, right? So then the remainder is really just going to be 3. So this is 3 mod 10. Same thing with 350. 350 is congruent to, well, that's going to go is congruent to 0 mod 10. Okay, so then 453 minus 350 squared is congruent to, let's see, that would be 3 minus 0 squared, which is congruent to 3 squared, which is congruent to 9, which is one of those numbers. mod 10. And so then you know that the answer is 9. Okay, these are quick calculations. C. 101 to the 50th power is congruent to what mod 10? Now in this one, if you try and put 101 to the 50th power into a calculator, I'm pretty sure you won't get an answer. Right? It just won't be able to compute it. It's just too big. Right? So here we're going to have to use these. So use these calculations like I've been showing above. So 101 is congruent to 1 mod 10. Right? I mean, you could do this math. Let's see, 101 divided by 10. Let's see how it goes in there. 1 time, subtract, that's a 1 there. You get 0. Bring down the 1, it goes into there. 0 times. Let's see, you got 0, 0, subtract, you get 1. Your remainder is 1. Right? You could do that, but notice that 101, right? 101 is 100 plus 1. Right, so this part is going to be 0 mod 10, and then you're just going to have 1 left over. Okay, so with that in mind, with all that in mind, now 101 to the 50th power is congruent to 1 to the 50th power. Well, 1 to the 50th power is just 1, so that's congruent to 1 mod 10. And so your answer is 1. And that's it.